And a good Sunday afternoon, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at the week's past weather, a couple things to feature here. We're still seeing some significant atmospheric rivers. This one affecting Washington and British Columbia. You can see that right here. And we've seen several of these work on in with sort of unabated tropical, subtropical moisture getting together, areas of low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska and so forth, and producing some heavy rainfall. For us, you can see how the kind of transitions have been working here. Ridge of higher pressure, storm after storm, but the weather pattern overall has been progressive. That is, moving from west to east at fairly good clips, and nothing unabated. However, if you look out here, you can see a little bit of some blocking that's starting to take place. And as weather systems approach that, they get shunted and then forced trough of lower pressure. And this may be backing into our neck of the woods here by next weekend. Nothing in between then and, say, Friday. Looking at today's weather across the lower 48, what we can see here is some rain that's going to be working on in. It will mix with a little bit of wet snow on our upper elevations. That all takes place tonight. In the meantime, we have some nice surprise sunshine taking place, generating solar decent conditions right now for that. Looking at temperature, of course, with that next shortwave trough working on in, temperatures behind this next system really do cool down, and that's going to lower the temperature for basically Tuesday. We're going to see a pretty cold day, but then moderation will develop as this ridge of higher pressure will have traversed the country, and we'll see moderating temperatures on its sort of western flank. That's going to be taking place toward Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. However, beyond that, we're looking at some pretty significant chill downs again, roughly along about Friday, with potentially for some moderating accumulating snow next weekend. That would happen basically probably late in the day Friday into Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and a good portion of next week. And I think we're going to have snow on the ground, and it's going to have that definite feel of winter as we turn toward the end of the month and into the few days of December. Looking at the European incrementals, this is how it's shaping up. We have that 1033 hectopascal high pressure system that's southeast of Nova Scotia. It had been ridging and producing some very fine weather. It actually opened a little bit of a door here for some sunshine. But we have this weather system that's going to be moving on in. We have snow that's, of course, north of the northern part of the Great Lakes and into Canada. It's basically primarily rain. A little bit of high elevation snow will mix in across the summits of the Green Mountains as this arrives, and basically its last half as a cold front will shift on through. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that problematic. Running the model, this is the way it looks right now. This is what we're going to see. This is valid about 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. And rain showers eventually come to an end once we get into the afternoon as a cold front pushes on in. This is valid about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and between about, say, 1 and 4 o'clock, just a few straggling leftover flurries or light rain showers. Then that pushes on out. We get into a little bit of drier weather, some lake effect snows. But for Tuesday, we'll feel the brunt of the cold. And maybe a couple, caveat here, a couple of minor flurries along the northern Green Mountains indicated there. And this is valid about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. And this area of higher pressure will be controlling the roost as it looks right now, with some pretty fine weather working in really during Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So Turkey Day also ending up as a minor ridge of higher pressure. Notice that we have a little bit of blocking that's off to the east, and I mentioned that, and you can see with the satellite picture I showed you early on. Well, this is going to form a cutoff low. Jet stream energy has nowhere to go, and so it cuts off, starts to form a cutoff low, and this will be kind of the first signs of maybe things to come with the next surge of jet stream energy coming over the top of a ridge and then cutting off over New England. That'll be taking place this coming weekend. This is how the models derive it. So we get into more significant weather. This is valid about 1 o'clock on Friday. By the way, basically Wednesday will have the best solar generation with the most clear skies. We'll start to see a lot of high cloudiness on Turkey Day Thursday. As we get into Thanksgiving evening, we're going to start to turn the corner and start to see some precipitation work on in. And this is the setup right now for 1 o'clock on Friday. So some snow on the western side of this trough of lower pressure, a significant burst of jet stream energy. and this will spin up an area of what will be some moderate snow, valid about, that would be about 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That'll continue into Sunday. You can see how that low gets cut off and then provides us with a little bit more wraparound. So we'll accrue some snow as it looks like this coming weekend. Between now and then, not a whole lot of that going on. And then finally, it looks like another ridge will start to work on in. This is valid into the late part of the day on Monday. And this is, of course, well beyond the period. So I take everything from here with a grain of salt. The ensemble of the GFS looks like this. We have two main periods of precipitation. This is the one that's going to be arriving later this evening and into the night and into the portion of the day on Monday. Then we dry out. We get significantly colder, but we do dry out. And then we're setting ourselves up with the next shot along about Friday, and that'll probably last through the entire weekend as it looks right now. Now the total QPF on this is really not that endearing in terms of heavier precipitation. First bout, we're talking about between 1 and 2/10 of an inch. Woo! And then we get into basically around the 26th of November, the day after Thanksgiving. Of course, we're talking Friday. We'll punch that up and almost get up to around 4 to 5/10 of an inch. So in terms of precipitation, really not a big deal. Now you look at precipitable water, and this is the reason why. A little more significant, but only 6/10. That's nothing. That's even within the standard deviation. And we dry out fairly considerably here as we get colder on Tuesday and into Wednesday. And of course, that'll linger into Thursday. We start to ramp that back up with a little bit of moisture. That takes place on Friday and over the coming weekend, next weekend. And then that looks like that significantly falls and so forth. Total QPF from the Weather Prediction Center looks like this, and what you can see is anywhere from around 0.25 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch total precipitation, and this is for the next 7 days, to about a 1/2 inch. Not a big deal at all. Most of the heavier precip is going to be once again affecting those areas that don't need to rain, with significant amounts, it looks like, for Washington back up into British Columbia. Nothing really extra special here, a little colder blob, but surrounded by warmer, anomalous air. And then up in Alaska, that seems to be where the cold of the cold is, and occasionally little pieces break off, make it through the Yukon and into Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and eventually get into Ontario and so forth. And kind of the typical November roller coaster rides in recent decades, this has been really the rule. It's very rare that this settles down and we stay one or the other, either warm, near normal, or below normal. So we always have these roller coaster rides. So this is our current warmth. Sharp cold front, that's going to lower the temperature. This is Tuesday, that's Wednesday. Start to warm things up Thursday, and then another sharp cold front, and temperatures lower. It looks like at least the GFS presentation ensemble there does indicate that temperatures will actually be colder after the next warm-up, whereas the European has its coldest within this period, and not as significantly as cold with this particular area. Moss output statistics show near normal, or so about close to normal for this time of year for the next 1 through 5 days of meteorological output statistic mean high temperatures. What about 3 days later? Well, it looks like this. Not a lot of change. I think we can say stick a fork in the tropics. We're not looking at anything to worry about, and that's all good news. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.